Hello, I am Nanci Trivellato, and in this video I'm going to talk about sleep paralysis and sleep paralysis in association with the astral projection or out-of-body experience. In this channel, I comment diverse topics about the study of consciousness, self-knowledge, how we can use the different experiences we have, including extraordinary phenomena, psi phenomena, whatever you want to call it, that may contribute to us understanding exactly who we are, what consciousness is, and what is our role and what we have to learn here in this dimension, in this life we have. For those of you who are not familiar with my work, perhaps you would find it interesting or helpful to know more about what I do through my TEDx talk that is called How Out-of-Body Experiences Could Transform Yourself and Society. It's an approach of how we could maybe take advantage from studying a scientific way out-of-body experience and what would be the consequences of that. So I invite you to watch if you have not done so. And I also would like to ask you, please, to leave comments asking what type of topics you would like me to discuss. You'll see that most of my videos are in Portuguese. That's where I have my largest audience built so far at this point. But the point of the channel and the point of me dedicating time to do this is to be useful, to share what I have learned, to share what I have studied, and also to share my own experiences in whichever way they may be useful. So if you tell me what you are interested in, I will try to cover. Also, I would like to mention that the specific study here, sleep paralysis, of course, it's a topic that many people are afraid of, and I'm not going to say this is something that most people will experience and find it pleasant. But one thing I can tell you is that I have learned to understand the phenomena, and most of the times that I have sleep paralysis, they are actually very nice, because I know how to take advantage of it in order to be more conscious of the subtle reality around me, or to be more conscious of my subtle body, or even to manage to detach or separate from my physical body at that time. However, sleep paralysis have different characteristics, I would say. The phenomenon per se is just one, but the conditions in which it occurs can vary a lot and can produce many different reactions for ourselves and can be produced by different circumstances. I'll give some examples, okay? From the simplest, most positive, to those that maybe are the ones that we wouldn't like to try, but maybe many of us have already felt. One thing is that when we have or we start having some level of separation from the physical body and the subtle body or astral body, I do not know how you want to call it. I like to call it subtle body or extra physical body, meaning not physical. But these bodies are completely coincided. When we have some degree of relaxation of the connections of these two bodies, a number of different phenomena are produced. One of them, for example, is what is called vibrational state. And vibrational state is simply a phenomenon, a condition in which we feel very strong vibrations inside of our bodies. It's not just bzz, it's really strong, as if we were, in a very strong electrical shock, or all of our cells were vibrating and agitated, but it's very pleasant. Can be quite strong, but it's very pleasant. Sometimes we almost feel like we can hear the vibrations, but that is one example of phenomena that can happen with this, how would I say it, looseness of the connections of the physical and subtle body. Other possibility is the sleep paralysis, and we say sleep paralysis because usually it happens when we are in deep relaxation, and this deep relaxation usually happens when we are going to sleep, but not necessarily only. Somebody may be, for example, just relaxed, watching TV, and despite being very much lucid and paying attention to the movie, for example, the person is watching, If the level of relaxation of the physical body reaches a certain point, it may create that small separation or looseness, better saying, of the subtle body, and we may then have this sensation of not being able to move the body that we call sleep paralysis, but actually is a sensation of paralysis of the body. Sleep is just an association we make, but not necessarily it's going to happen always when we are sleeping. In this condition, the sensation can be interesting, can be pleasant, or can be neutral even. You just feel you cannot move. When we are not aware of what's going on, of course, we'll feel like, oh, I cannot move my body, am I dying, what's going on? But if we stop for a moment and we think and we observe what we are feeling, we are going to see that we just need to calm down our minds and we are going to come back. That is an unavoidable phenomenon. And actually, having this experience is a good sign. Why is it a good sign? Because it's a sign, if you have it, that you are able to maintain or to hold your awareness, your lucidity, how would I say, your consciousness, being conscious of the situation, you are able to hold it in spite of a deep relaxation of your physical body and a deep relaxation also of your brain, of course, because you're falling asleep, you are going to different brain waves. So therefore, it shows that our capacity to be conscious, to be lucid, is not so much attached to our brain or to our bodies, in a sense that once it starts relaxing, we black out. So we are maintaining the lucidity for longer. So we see this phenomenon happen. From that point of view, super interesting, super positive. If we know what is going on and everything is fine around, as I said, and it's my condition nowadays, we can enjoy. We want to make it longer. We want to, because at that moment sometimes we can sense the physical environment, we can sense the body, but at the same time we are sensing something subtler, a subtler reality that is somehow penetrating, almost like overlapping with the physical reality, but we normally don't notice it. Nonetheless, sometimes when this sleep paralysis occurs, we may find it fearful for not having information. It's the most common and basic thing, but not always only that. Sometimes in that moment, exactly because we become lucid of this subtler reality or of the subtle energies around of us, and especially for those who are not normally aware of that reality, then what happens is that the person may identify some energies around that are not quite so stable, not quite so balanced, not quite so agreeable with themselves. Therefore, in that moment, when they are sensing this subtle reality, they are at the same time sensing something not nice to them. Maybe just not nice to them, or maybe frankly, I won't say against them, but aggressive to them in a way, or to ourselves when it's us experiencing that. And of course, that's something that I can also experience if I am in an environment or in a condition that there could be this type of not so positive, non-physical consciousness or spirits around. But then, let's understand the bad sensation is not because of feeling we cannot move the body. Of course, that's not nice, but if we know what's going on, okay. But the bad sensation is not coming from that. The bad sensation is coming from sensing something not good that was there from the beginning, but we were not aware of. Now we are. If we know how to handle our subtle energies, then we have procedures that we can do to cleanse a little bit or spread our energies around, so that those foreigner energies or those energies from other beings do not come so close to us. It's not difficult to do that. It's just a matter of sensing our own energies and creating like an impulse for the energy to go out, not in an aggressive way, but in a stable way, strong way. Okay, so that is a second, therefore, condition of the sleep paralysis or the sensation of paralysis of the body. I would love to have a different name for it so we don't associate necessarily with the sleep. But then sometimes the sleep paralysis or the sensation comes in a moment when there are specific non-physical consciousnesses, spirits, whatever you want to call it, presences, subtle presences around. But those presences not only are not so balanced, but they are interested in our energies, interested in connecting with us or in producing something on us. Sometimes because they are used to do that for different reasons, they kind of get closer to us because of maybe a pattern of thought we have, or maybe a certain emotion. But other times they are simply interested in a specific type of energy we have. And then at that moment, because we are aware of them, and we feel we cannot do anything about, because we are not being able to move, and therefore we rely all of our possibility to do something about it on the movement of the body, which is a mistake, but of course is natural when we do not know we can do anything different. But at that moment, then what happens is that specific consciousness, being, spirit, may come close to us, and we may feel almost like an invasion, almost like, how would I say it? Like somebody's very close trying to touch us. It's not a physical touch, of course, but it's so close and so clear, and the energies can be sensed in a way that we feel as if it is invading us in a way. It's an intrusion in a way. Therefore, that can be very, very not comfortable at all, very, very bad for our sensation, because we want to do something about it, we cannot. And the more we fight, the more we feel we are vulnerable, because instead of giving us control, we feel like we are going further from having control, because our fight usually is emotional. So what should we do in a moment like that? I think, again, first number one thing is, if we know a little bit about our subtle energies, we can make some procedures with our energies so that these energies are not available to these beings. I have a book that I'm going to be published soon in English that has techniques that may contribute to this. There are many techniques. I just find that one very effective, and I find that one effective for many other things as well. So it's very, with lots of different utilities or applications. The technique is called VELO, voluntary energetic longitudinal oscillation. But it's a procedure that we do with our energies in our bodies. I can explain this in a different moment if that is the case. But if we know how to do that, then we are going to start moving our energies and doing our velos. And those consciousness that were attached and trying to get energy from us, or trying to impose a certain sensation or thought to us, they cannot do that. They cannot do, because they are trying to create one, how would I say, effect in our energies, but we are counteracting by doing some action with the energies directly, instead of trying to fight with the body or with emotions. But the body cannot move, and our emotions are only going to make us more and more agitated. And the best thing to do in a moment like that, therefore, work with energies. And if not, a second option is think, how would I say, calm down. Think of one specific action you would do. So, for example, would be just moving an arm, or just saying a word, or just thinking of, you want that consciousness further far away, or you are not going to allow your energies or your emotions to produce certain type of quality, and therefore they stop being possible for that consciousness or agreeable with that consciousness who is trying to take it from you. So as long as you can differentiate the quality of your energies from the type of energies they are interested in, then there's no longer a bond, there's no way that they can get to you or get close to you. So different things that we can do, but I would like to say that the sensation of not being able to move the body per se, that is neutral. That is just a natural reaction of this separation or looseness. In my opinion, it's actually positive, as I already mentioned, and I already mentioned the reasons why I think it's positive. I think it's a good sign, and I think we can use this to learn, to leave the body, to do different things, but it can be frightening when it happens in these other conditions. But it's important to understand that the fear or the bad sensations we have are not because we are not being able to move, but because the circumstances, the context that are revolving around that moment in which we had the sleep paralysis. So anyway, I hope this helps a little bit, because so many of us, we have this experience, we do not know what it is. So many of us would fear that one day we are not going to come back, and we would like a solution, and we do not know necessarily what to look for. So I hope this helps. Whatever you do, don't try to jump in a moment or become emotional. One step at a time, only a deep breath, only one action, only one focus, and that will help a lot. On the other hand, if you can, try to explore outside the body. What is there? What you have to learn? And if it is something not positive, and suppose that you are sensing, if it's something not positive that you are sensing around in the moment that you have that paralysis or sensation of paralysis, and you leave your body, isn't it better that you see what it is and then you can do something about it? Because otherwise, in any other moment, whatever energy is that or whatever presence could be there, it's still there, but it's going to come closer in a moment that you are unconscious, and therefore you are not going to see it. Some people say, better not seeing. Yes, but it leaves some consequences to us. What type of consequences? Maybe leave us a little bit drained of energies, maybe contaminate our energies a little bit, so therefore throughout the day we may feel we are not so stable, we may have ups and downs, we may experience conditions that are not the ideal, we may have thoughts that appear out of the blue for no reason, and thoughts that are not normally ours, or things that we would normally find it's correct to think about or to think of. So different reactions we could have, or different consequences by having those presences. So what I mean is, not knowing they are there, maybe a relief for some people, but it's not a solution. So if you are brave enough, check what's there, use your energies, expand your energies, make your environment cleaner from a non-physical or extra-physical or subtle point of view. That is not so difficult, it's doable, and I'm sure if you got to the point of experiencing this, it means you have a chance of going a step further and doing this, leaving the body and using that in a way that you can learn and change the situation. Okay, I hope that was helpful. That was really my wish. If the video was helpful to you, maybe you give me a feedback, you like the video, so I will know. Tell me if there is anything specific you would like to know, and I will comment in a future video whenever I have a chance. And if you would like to register to the channel to be informed of future videos, please, by all means, that will be a pleasure for me. I hope to see you again at some point here in the video, or to meet you somewhere. Thank you very much for your attention.